All right, everybody. Thank you for clicking in the We'll Fix It team. All right, today, 2010 Toyota Tacoma two-wheel drive pre-runner. Customer described an issue where the right side wheel, which would be, I love to say passenger driver side just because it takes the confusion out of some people's orientation of left and right in the vehicle, but technically left and right of the vehicle is determined while you're sitting in the vehicle. So right hand side would be passenger side, left hand side be driver side. But just to wade off any confusion, passenger side rear tire had a shutter in it. And he said it went away, but anyhow, I said, well, let me just check the rear drum brakes because it's got a lot of miles on it. Nothing's been done back there, so we just want to just see what's going on. And surprisingly, there was a little bit of shoe left, considering it had, maybe 145,000 miles, which is not very many for a 2010. The truck's been taken care of. However, there was some grease on the shoes. Okay, and so what that means is and it wasn't wheel cylinder goo. It's rear axle grease. I have to say it carefully so I don't say the wrong word. Let me show you how we're going to change. Well, we got a seal that's bad, and more than likely we've got a bearing that's starting to fail. I turned it. It doesn't. I don't feel it yet, but there could be an issue where the cage is broken loose and has caused it to become out of alignment, which then the seal doesn't properly get clamped around the axle very well. And then what happens there is it kind of rides around. It does what it does, and then we've got it's a minor leak. We just caught it, and that noise could be the shutter he was talking about. So I've kind of got into it a little bit, but we're going to go into a little more detail. Let's flip the camera around and I'll show you where we're at. Right. I've removed most of the rear brake stuff because I'm going to have to. I had to get the cable off. The e-brake cable needed to be removed. And plus the shoes had goo on them. So, and we're going to do the other side. We're not just going to put one side on it. We're going to do that. And wheel cylinders are original, so we're going to replace those while we've got it apart just because it's what you need to do when you have miles on a vehicle and your rear brakes debrakes. Now, we've got it done. I've just put this over it. It has a little something in there to keep the fluid from running out. We're going to remove I'll move the speed sensor. It probably will be fine back there, but I just like to take that out because I don't want to have any issue where something happens and I mess up the end of the speed sensor. So it's easy to take out as long as it's not all rusted in there. It slipped right out of there. I've already started these bolts. We're going to get this out. We're going to slide the axle out completely with backing plate and all. Then the axle seal is going to be in the tube right here. I've got a seal that's going to be going in it right here. This should be the right one. We're going to find out when we get it all the way tore down. I hope so we get this thing out today. Right there it is. And then we're going to, I've laid out the rear brake. I didn't take the other side off just so I can look in case I get messed up, but try to lay things out so we can put it back. So let me go ahead and finish removing these 4 bolts. The axle will slip right out because the 4 bolts and bearing hold it in. There should be we're going to replace the bearing as well. So there'll be a snap ring that we'll take off, and then we'll see we'll get it out. We'll move along with it. So stick around, and we'll vlog it out. Here we go. So just slip right out of there. There we go. All right, got it out. Okay. Oops, set that down. And then here is the seal. No, it's not the guy that sings that song, Kissed by a Rose on a Grave or Touched by whatever. There. So we've got to get that out right there. And there's another little O-ringy thing that you might be mindful of right here, but it's fine. We'll put a little bit of gasket sealer around that and put that back to that O-ring. So let's what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the new seal and I'm going to make sure it fits like here before I knock this out, and then I'm going to put look over the axle, slide it over the axle. Better show you real quick. Let me show you. So there it is. I'm going to just, well, it looks right there so far. Let's see how it looks on our axle. Oh yeah, okay, good. That's going to work. We're going to be all right. We'll wipe that back off, make sure it looks nice and new. And we want this to go in dry. You don't want to put anything slick around that outside of that rubbery thing. So we'll get the gear oil drained down enough and then put something in that tube so it keeps it from leaking back in my surface when I put that in, because I want that to go in dry so that it locks in. I don't know, I've made my phone start doing a thing. And just a quick little rundown of what we've got here, so you'll know. The bearing itself has you see this looks like little stripes. That's a magnetic strip, and the speed sensor goes in right here, and it goes right over that this magnetic strip, and it reads a square wave pulse when it moves, when it's turning, and that gives you a signal for your ABS. And sometimes if you have ABS issues and it says rear wheel, it gives you a code for a certain wheel, like speed sensor or incorrect ratio or something like that, something to do with speed sensor. 90% of the time it's not the speed sensor, especially if you check reference voltage going to your speed sensor wire. As long as you've got that, your 5 volts and your ground and stuff, what you've got is a problem with the magnetic strip starting to break loose and being inconsistent. So it reads that and it gives a fault code. All right, so upon further inspection, the bearing is in great shape. Looks really good. Magnetic strip is intact. Everything checks out really good. So the customer wants to try to keep this as cheap as possible, and there's reasons for that. We have an economy that's probably reflective of what we have to do to get by. And when you do this wheel bearing, it's very invasive. You got to cut this ring off. You got to do all kind of stuff. It about triples the price of the job. And the seal is just bad. It's just the rubber's gotten tired and old. The other side hasn't started leaking, so we're not going to mess with that. But just the rubber's tired and old. So what we're going to do is replace the seal. We're going to clean this up really good. Carefully reinstall the axle so we don't damage the new seal. And when we slide it back in, we'll put a little bit of grease on the lip of the new seal. I'll show you that. But I've already got the old seal is out, and I've replaced this rag in here so I can wipe this out and get this good and dried up so that there's a dry install around this lip out here. Then I'll put a little bit of grease on the lip of the inside of the seal so it's not dry when I put it on. And then we'll put it back together with the new brakes and the new hardware that's necessary for completing the job, the new wheel cylinders and stuff. And we'll be able to get it out and save them a little bit of money, because I spun this, I checked it, it is fine. There's nothing wrong with that wheel bearing. This will half the price of this job and enable him to save him some money, because it's just we're in that time right now. Things are really tough. And so yeah, let me flip the camera back around. Okay, well that pretty much, we're just going to, driving that seal in is no big deal. If you've made it this far, you know how to do that. So I want to just thank you for tuning in, and just how this seal is, what it takes to change it, so you'll know, and especially if you're just somebody that's got your truck at a repair shop, you get an idea of what it costs, what it takes, so that you know the guy that's doing the work on your truck isn't hoodooing you and telling you a bunch of stuff. If you like what we do with these videos, please hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe, because we do all kind of stuff. I do a lot of repair videos, but you might run across me working on a tractor, doing some hit and miss stuff, doing some welding, fabricating. Just depends on what my fancy is over the weekend. So my thanks goes out to you and all the new and subscribers and the ones that've been here since day one. And take it easy. Peace out. We're out. Bye.